Well, CFL season came and went. I'm CFL Jim. Let's have us a recap, huh, buddy? So what am I talking about on this recap? 2025 was a wonderful year for the CFL. There was a lot of things that happened. There's a lot of things that happened that are meaning they're pushing forward. They're going to affect things down the line. There was a lot of storylines. There were a lot of things going on. And we're going to touch on every little bit. To start, we're going to talk about what I thought going into the season, what a lot of different people thought going into the season. We're going to talk the new rules announcements. We're going to talk the storyline of TSN versus the fans to an extent. They call them numpties. They say whatever. The Americanization of the game and the backlash to that. We're going to talk playoffs. We're going to talk the crowning achievement of the Saskatchewan Roughriders finally making it and winning the Grey Cup after so long. There's a lot. Early season. Let's go back in time. Okay. Argos right now looking rough. They are not doing great. I am wildly disappointed with the reigning Grey Cup champion. It's not good football that they're playing right now. Quarterback injuries. Concerning. We're seeing a lot of these stars going down, and I've noticed, not just in the CFL, but in our brothers down south, in the National Football League and in the UFL and whatnot, offensive line play seemingly over the last 5 years to 10 years even, it's slowly but steadily started going downhill. And it's hard to get good experienced linemen, and that's causing more injuries to these quarterbacks, and they're going out, and we're having trouble keeping this continuity going. And it hurts the product. It does hurt the product just a little bit. The Hamilton Ticats, firing that offense. Mwah, mwah. It's a beauty. She's pretty, and she's humming. And then, last bit, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Is this a complete team? I understand. Year after year after year, we see the Saskatchewan Roughriders compete and do well to start a season and then slump in the middle and then pick it back up at the end just to falter. But this team, this squad, they could be different, buddy. To the midpoint. Oh, okay. We're in the middle of the season now, boys. Quarterback injuries. Oh, God, I thought it was rough earlier. This is tough. This sucks. Offensive line play. Hurting bad. And it's I don't know, man. Calgary, though. They got them a squad there. Vernon Adams, they're cooking. Them Stampeders looking pretty nice. They looking hot. Edmonton, the Elks, they're sort of having this weird relationship, a will they, won't they, with Trey and with Cody. I just don't understand what they're trying to do. I don't get it. It's not working out for them. They have glimpses, they have glimmers, but I don't know. I really don't know with Edmonton. And then they announced some new rules coming for the Canadian Football League. Some rule changes. I don't like them. I'm a little confused and scared about this announcement, but we'll see. We'll see how we feel at the end of the season, you know? Speaking of which, we're at the end of the season, boys. I don't know. I don't know about this commissioner, about the leadership of the CFL. I'm a little worried. I'm a little frightened. And with the season being done now, I'm skeptical about things moving forward in 2026 and 2027. But we'll see. I still will love the game. I'll still watch. CFL Jim will be there no matter what. The exciting end of the season cannot be overstated. Every team up to the last 2 weeks was alive, which was something we haven't had previous years. Even last year, 2 years ago, almost half the teams, it felt like, were eliminated by this point. They were eliminated 3 weeks before the playoffs even started. We had storylines like Edmonton had a legit shot going in. Winnipeg capturing that last spot for the crossover. There was some real fun storylines going in. And the playoffs, oh my gosh. The playoffs were so good. The games were so amazing. They were so fun. They were down to the wire. They were down to the minute. It was just, it's everything you could have wanted in a culmination of the CFL and the Grey Cup. Oh, at first I thought it was going to be trouble. I thought we were going to be in a rough spot with the Alouettes not performing. But guess what? The comeback almost happened. Saskatchewan didn't run away with it. We had a great game to cap off an amazing season, and it was beautiful. Golly, was it. CFL Jim here to give you a little bit of evaluation on each team's 2025 season. Starting, of course, with the Ottawa Red Blacks. What an incredible disappointment this team was this year. I really just don't get it. I don't know what they were trying for. Nothing seemed to work. They didn't even have a lot of upside that teams like Edmonton had, where you were still fighting for something. They felt hapless for a good amount of 2025. Good luck next season. Toronto Argonauts. From first to almost worst, this team was not good for a huge chunk of the season up until the very end. Like, they were kind of getting it together to end the season. They had moments, but they were rough. I don't know what they're going to be doing at quarterback going forward. I don't know what they're going to be doing in general going forward. It's a weird situation in Toronto. I'm just left wondering. I'm left questioning the Argonauts. Edmonton Elks. What could have been? What could have been for the Elks if Cody Fajardo was their starter for the whole season? That's all you're going to be left with in Edmonton is what could have been. Trey Ford just never worked out. For the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, old. I'm going to go with old. That's my evaluation of Winnipeg. Old, dusty, fighting, but old. For the Calgary Stampeders, I would say semi-successful. You stumbled near the end, but I would still call it a semi-successful season. VA still getting a good feel in the system, but I would call it semi-successful is a good way to put it. Hamilton Tiger Cats, explosive offense. Such a fun offense. Love seeing them play. Again, old-ish. Can you keep it together going forward? I feel like they're going to be in. If they can keep this level of play up year in and year out, they're probably within striking distance of a Grey Cup for the next 2, maybe 3 years. It's going to be tough to keep all these pieces together, though. For the BC Lions, oh, baby. They are set up so well. They are right there. They have a key piece to build around in Nathan Rourke. And I feel like they have the firepower to compete with anybody. If they could get defense on lock, this team has the power to be so good. Montreal Alouettes. If and ands and buts and whats and tizzits. If Davis Alexander was 100% in that Grey Cup, maybe you win. You honestly, maybe you probably win. You were still close even with him banged up because he's such a gamer. But you're in it all the time. Your defense, recent history, has been fantastic. You don't really need to worry about much. You were right there. Don't change up too much if you're Montreal. For Saskatchewan, oh, what a complete season. Start to middle to end. They were always near the top of the standings, not like years prior. They finally did it. The only question I have is how long they can keep this up. How long will Trevor Harris stay there in Saskatchewan, and can they put something behind him for when he leaves? But it doesn't matter because you guys have a fucking Grey Cup, and that's all that matters in the end. And that brings us to the rule changes. Oh boy, the rule changes coming for the CFL. I remember when these were announced, everyone was freaking out. Everyone was either super worried or super for them. Some people say it's Americanizing the game. It's getting the league one step closer to just folding or being absorbed by the NFL. They're trying to make it so they can design the fields to hold more NFL games. Maybe they'll have the Bills play in Toronto, or maybe they'll have the Lions play in Canada somewhere. Who knows? All I know is that the rule changes themselves, and I'll get to the actual changes in a second. I don't know how these changes help the CFL. Now, when you're discussing the problems of the Canadian Football League, there's a lack of viewership. There seems to be, in a decent amount of markets, a lack of presence, so to speak. And it's worrying. It is worrying. They're trying to get back to pre-COVID levels. They're trying to get back to where they were even in like the 90s. And it's just tough. I don't see how these rules bring more people in. But I'll let you guys decide. So the rule changes are going on. We have the 2026 rule changes and the 2027 changes. So 2026, the big one, really the only one, is the change to the rouge. So the rouge right now is a 1-point score for the offense if they kick a field goal, punt the ball, or somehow on a kickoff. But usually it's on a field goal or a punt. If they punt it into the end zone and it's not recovered and not brought out of the end zone, or say they kick it through the end zone. So on a field goal right now, if you kick the field goal, miss the uprights, but you kick it through the end zone, you get a point. That's a rouge. If you punt the ball out of the end zone, out the back of the end zone, that's a rouge, you get a point. Or if you kick the field goal, it lands in the end zone, but they don't return it out, that's a point. If you punt the ball into the end zone, don't return it, that's a point. Right now, they're getting rid of the missed field goals and the punts right now. So what happens now is you miss a field goal, that's just going to be a touchback. If you punt it, and it lands in the end zone, and they don't return it, that's still a rouge. But if you're punting it and you go out the back of the end zone, no rouge. So no rouge on missed field goals, and no rouge on like punts out the back of the end zone. It has to be returnable for it to count for a point. I'm like half and half on this. It feels to me like you're almost appealing to the gambling market out there. As someone who dabbles, there have been times where I'm betting a team and they lose on a rouge. And you're thinking, oh, they kicked the field goal, they missed the field. When I was a naive little young CFL Jim, I'd watch a team, they'd line up for the field goal to try and win it. They would miss. I'd have a brief moment of excitement and be like, oh, we're going to overtime. We get more Canadian football. Yay. And then I see the 1-point tick. And I'm like, what happened? Oh, no. Oh, geez. But now, I mean, I've come to appreciate. I've come to love the rouge. It's something that makes the Canadian game nice and unique that you don't see in a lot of other football leagues. But I'm okay-ish with them changing the rouge. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. So it's a wash for me. The big one to me is the 2027 change. And I'll get to those in a second, but we also have one other change, the play clock change. So right now, you're getting a 35-second play clock that starts the second a play is done. So your refs won't have to signal anything in. I'm okay with that if it keeps the pace of play going. They're going to have to figure something out for the 3-minute warning time zones, but I trust the rules analysts. I trust the referees and whatnot of the CFL to kind of make sense of this. For the 2027 changes, they're moving the goalpost from the front of the end zone to the back of the end zone, and guess what? They're shortening the end zones from 20 yards down to 15 yards. And bigger yet, they are shrinking the field itself from 110 yards to just a simple 100 yards. Lockstep with what America is doing in their football leagues. So you're going to need a lot of changes going in 2027. These changes to the field itself are things that I don't truly love. I think the bigger field is a cool aspect of the Canadian Football League, and I think when you have more players on the field, you're giving players on the offense a running start with the waggle. I think the bigger field plays into that a little bit more, and I always liked the big end zones because I felt like that opened up the offensive playbook a bit when you're on the goal line. You don't just have to run short slants. You don't just have to run running plays realistically. You have your whole playbook still available to you. And then you move the goalpost back to the end of the end zone. And I don't know, man. It's going to look too similar to the NFL for my liking, if I'm being blunt. And I'm sorry for being blunt. But for me, if I'm just putting myself in the brain of someone who's not currently a fan of the CFL and a fan of the NFL, who I assume the Canadian Football League is trying to capture are people that live in Canada that are currently watching the NFL or not, just not watching any football, and get them to watch the CFL. What you see now is something that looks similar-ish to the NFL. It has like the same structure. It's still football. It's still very recognizable. But you're just like, oh, there's more players on the field. Oh, these guys are getting a running start. Oh, it's just 3 downs. You pick it up pretty quick. And then all of a sudden now, the end zones look the same. The field looks strikingly similar. And it draws more comparisons to the NFL than I personally like. It's just like, oh, we're making the game look more like what the NFL looks like. And now we're drawing more comparisons to the NFL, who, I'm going to be blunt again, gets the best talent, has the best players. And we're trying to be more like that. We're trying to look more like the NFL without having the big draw of the NFL is the fact that they get the best players. And if you're looking like the NFL, but you don't have the players that the NFL has, what are you bringing to the table? I think what the CFL has are its differences, are its cool little rules like the rouge or the waggle or the 3-down system or the halo rule on punts, and the physicality of the game. So I don't know. Obviously, we're not changing the waggle. We're not going to 4 downs. We're not doing a lot of stuff like that. But the worry is that coming in the future? And these changes, whether you like them or hate them or whatever, I guess we'll see. But I don't personally see how these changes work to bring more people in to the Canadian Football League. At worst case scenario, you take some of your long-held fans and you push them away. And then you start losing people. So that's my worry right now. I don't know. I have before me on this sacred tome the final power ratings for each CFL team from the CFL season by me, CFL Jim, for you, the CFL enjoyer, to absorb into your CFL enjoyer brain one last CFL time to start the CFL 2026 and end the CFL 2025 CFL season from my CFL mouth to your CFL ears. Okay. Number 9, the Ottawa Redblacks. Should be self-explanatory there. Number 8, I'm actually going to put the Toronto Argonauts. This team disappointed in so many ways and looked flat out sloppy for a good chunk of the season. At number 7, I understand this may be controversial, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They looked weak. They limped into the playoffs. I don't know if they fully belong. Like, they felt like they were trending down at the end of the season versus teams that I felt were trending up. The Edmonton Elks. Again, you take the season as a whole, you can't really have them here, but you take what they look like in the latter half and a fully Cody Fajardo'd up Elks team, I have them above the Bombers. Number 5, Calgary Stampeders. The rest of these should be self-explanatory. Calgary, Hamilton, BC, Saskatchewan, and Montreal. These teams are all neck and neck. They're all super close, but I have Calgary at the bottom of that list. They were too hot and cold throughout the season. When they were hot, they were red hot. When they were cold, it was not very pretty to watch, and they were too inconsistent for me. At number 4, it's the Hamilton Tiger Cats. This offense just it turned me on. It lit me up. Loved watching them. Number 3, BC Lions. Argue with the wall. This team was fantastic, especially to end the season. They were so good. Number 2, Montreal Alouettes. Basically everything you want with BC, but they also had a way better defense. And Davis Alexander's a dog. And number 1, they win the Grey Cup. You're number 1 in the rankings. It's the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It has to be. So, once again, 9-1. Ottawa, Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary, Hamilton, BC, Montreal, Saskatchewan. Those are your CFL Jim power rankings, baby. And that'll get me to my top 10 moments of the 2025 Canadian Football League season. At number 10, the first points of the Grey Cup this year being a rouge is just chef's kiss and kind of a middle finger to the guys upstairs trying to change this league and move on from it. Number 9, Cody Fajardo and his guts. The fact that he's like willing this Edmonton team to almost make a playoff run, and the way this team looked with him at the helm was just something miraculous. Number 8, Nathan Rourke getting back to form and going at the commish a little bit. I like that. I like seeing a little spark from the guy. Number 7, touchdown Tommy Stevens. Oh boy, I love Tommy Stevens so much. In fact, why don't I just do a little montage of Tommy Stevens scoring touchdowns? Number 6, the Winnipeg Bombers downfall. You can argue this has been a long time coming. They've been a participant in every Grey Cup so far this decade, except for this one. They've slowly been getting older and older and worse, just a little bit at each year. And then culminated with this, they just didn't look themselves for a good chunk of the season and didn't make the Grey Cup. Number 5, arguing online. It's one of my favorite aspects of any football league. College football in America, the NFL has a great history of arguing online. The Canadian Football League this year, so many people arguing online over the rule changes, over the games themselves. It was something beautiful. Seeing fans come together and just hate on the league, office, on themselves, on TSN. It was It's everything you want out of a beautiful football league. Number 4, in line with that, it's the discourse around the new rules. It was something to keep me occupied, something fun to wake up to every morning and be like, oh, what did this person say about the new rules? What does 3 Down Nation have to say? What does this website have to say? What does Luke Wilson have to say? It was something that kept me interested for a good few months there. Number 3, the season coming down to the wire. I explained this in my broad strokes point, but the fact that so many teams were still alive at the end of the regular season and that you couldn't take a break, it was awesome. No teams were giving up. Every team was alive, and it was so exciting all the way down the stretch. Number 2, Saskatchewan winning it in Winnipeg. Seeing something like that is just, it's got to bring almost a happy tear to your eyes. I was so happy to see the Riders win it in Winnipeg. And number 1, the friends and the haters we made along the way. That's really what 2025 was all about, was coming together as friends, as haters, as fans of the Canadian Football League, and just living it up. Okay, before me, get out of here, I have a couple questions I want to ask you guys. Feel free to leave them in the comments, respond, email, call me. I don't care. I want to know your favorite moments of the CFL 2025 season. I want to know your thoughts about the future of the league and league leadership and where we're headed. And I want to know your favorite team. I want to know everybody's favorite team in the CFL. It's very important to me that I know who you all are rooting for. And that'll do it, buddy. The season's done. We close the book on another year of glorious CFL action. And my time has come. I'm CFL Jim. I'll see you next time, buddy.